Let's be very clear about something. A losing streak is not a failure of your character. It's not a sign that you've suddenly lost your touch. It's a mechanical problem, plain and simple. And like any mechanical problem, it has a solution. Now, the common advice is to just fight harder, to have more willpower. But the truth is, the fight, that's the actual problem. Today, we're not going to fight the market. We're going to engineer a mindset that makes the fight completely irrelevant.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to dig into that feeling of market injustice, that psychological pain. Then we'll reframe everything using the cold, hard law of probabilities. We'll look at two mindsets, the warrior and the executive, and I'll give you a mechanical drill called the 20-trade reset. After that, a pre-trade logic check to shield you from your own worst impulses. And finally, we'll wrap up with a final briefing to lock in this new identity.
All right, first things first, we have to understand the emotional battlefield. That brings us to Section 1. The market injustice, and the psychological pain that comes with a losing streak. You know the feeling, right? It starts with a couple of losses, but pretty soon it feels personal. It's like the market knows exactly where your stop loss is and is going for it, specifically. This feeling, this sense that it's all rigged against you, that's the market injustice. It's a totally normal human reaction in a really unnatural environment, but you have to understand it's also the trigger for making some truly catastrophic mistakes.
And this right here, this gets to the absolute core of it. A drawdown stops being just a financial number. It becomes an emotional crisis. Every single loss feels less like a business expense and more like a personal insult. It's an attack on your ego, on your identity as someone who knows what they're doing. The money almost becomes secondary to the pure humiliation of just being wrong, over and over again.
When you're in that emotional state, you've entered what we call the warrior state. You start seeing the market as an enemy you have to defeat. Every trade becomes a battle for validation, a chance to prove you're right. But this mindset is a trap. It leads to revenge trading, to breaking your own rules, and to just complete emotional burnout. You're not trading your system anymore, you're trading your ego.
So how do you escape this trap? Well, you have to shift your entire perspective. This brings us to Section 2, the Law of Probabilities. This is where we leave that subjective, emotional world behind and enter the world of objective, statistical reality.
You know, the ancient Stoics actually gave us the key for this mental shift. It's called the dichotomy of control. And it's a simple but really profound idea. Some things are up to us, and some things just aren't. In trading, the outcome of any one trade is absolutely not in your control. The market is going to do what the market is going to do. So what is in your control? Your process, your rules, your risk management, your execution. A professional focuses only on the things they can control.
These truths, which were made famous by Mark Douglas, are basically the iron laws of trading. Now, take a look at the third point here. There is a random distribution between wins and losses. This flies directly in the face of what the warrior feels. A losing streak feels like a pattern, like a personal failure. But in reality, in a system based on probability, it's just a cluster of negative outcomes that is statistically guaranteed to happen eventually. Your last trade has absolutely no bearing on your next one.
And this table just lays it all out with cold, hard math. Just look at a system with a 60% win rate. That's a really profitable system. Even with that, the probability of hitting 5 losses in a row is over 1%. With a 50% win rate, it's over 3%. See, losing streaks aren't a sign that you're broken or your system is broken. They are a mathematical certainty. Your job isn't to avoid them, it's to survive them.
Okay, so how do we actually internalize this stuff? We do it by shifting our identity. And that brings us to Section 3, the warrior versus the executive. Two different paths leading to two very, very different outcomes. So let's meet two traders. First, we have Alex, our warrior. He's trapped in that emotional spiral we talked about. Every loss is a personal hit. He gets rattled, he breaks his rules, he tries to win it back. He's trading his own ego, and he is doomed to fail. On the other side, we have Cryptosaro, the executive. He operates with total detachment. To him, a loss is just a business expense. It's a cost of gathering data in a world of probabilities. He's calm, he's systematic, and he executes his plan no matter how he feels. He's not trading the market, he is managing a business.
The goal, then, is to become the executive. But how? It's not about trying harder, it's about having a better process. Section 4 introduces a real practical tool for this, the 20-trade reset. This is a mechanical drill for rewiring your behavior. This drill is specifically designed to shift your focus from the outcome to the process. For your next 20 trades, you have one and only one. Objective. Perfect compliance. You follow your system to the letter, no changes, no tweaks. You're not even trying to make money. Profit is completely irrelevant here. You are just trying to execute flawlessly. This simple act short-circuits the emotional brain and forces the logical, systematic part of your mind back online. You're rebuilding discipline through pure repetition.
And here is the single most important part, the non-negotiable safety net for this drill. You must cut your risk per trade by 50%, by at least half. This dramatically lowers the emotional stakes, it protects your capital, and allows you to focus entirely on perfect execution while you recalibrate your mind.
Okay, next up, we need a tool to protect ourselves in the heat of the moment. That brings us to Section 5, the pre-trade logic check. I want you to think of this as your personal psychological circuit breaker.
Before you even think about entering a trade, you have to run through this checklist. And here's the rule. You have to answer each question in 3 seconds or less. These are quick, yes or no questions, designed to expose emotional thinking. If you have to hesitate, if you have to justify your answer, the answer is no, and you do not take the trade. This is the final firewall that stands between the disciplined executive and the impulsive warrior.
So let's bring all of this together. Section 6, the final briefing. This is all about cementing the identity shift that's required for you to survive and thrive in the long run.
Here is the entire framework, boiled down to its essence. The problem is our obsession with the outcome of any one trade, which leads to an emotional meltdown. The cause of this is a deep misunderstanding. We're looking for certainty in a game that's governed only by probability. So the only real approach is a total identity shift. You have to stop being the warrior who tries to predict and become the mechanical executive who simply executes.
Ultimately, a bulletproof mindset isn't about being tougher or having more grit. It's about being smarter. It's about building a structure of rules and processes and mental models that protect you from your own worst instincts. You see, willpower is a finite resource. It always fails under pressure. But a well-designed system, that's what endures. So the question isn't how you can find the strength to survive the next streak. The real question is, have you built a system that makes strength irrelevant?